Good day, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of TEDxMellenStreet Live. I'm your host and curator, Sacha Walton. And once again, I'm back with another speaker who is going to be on our TEDx stage November the 18th at the historic American Theater. And today I have Jamie Vanek. And yeah, I'm going to let you get to know her and what she's doing and, try our best to stay away from the talk because we don't want to let you know those things. We want you to show up and find out. And so before I bring her on, I just have one sponsor to thank. That is Connected Compass. With the founder is Tanya Fields. They're doing an awesome job out here in the STEM community and making those advances and advantages for minority men and women to get involved. So thank you, Tanya Fields and Connected Compass for the work that you're doing in the community and abroad. And without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring up Jamie Vanek. How are you?
Hi, good morning, Sasha. I am great. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I'm wonderful. I am wonderful. It is another beautiful day. We have another opportunity to just share some joy and be here with you today.
All right.
Yeah. Awesome. So, there's a question I ask everyone that, is on the show. And I love to just throw it in there and just tell the world who is Jamie Vanek.
Oh my gosh, isn't it so interesting how hard it is to answer that question about yourself? Who is Jamie? I am a wanderer. I'm just a curious learner. I think throughout my life, I've always been looking for what else can I learn? What can I learn about myself? What can I learn about an industry? What can I learn about all sorts of things? So I started out as an art teacher many years ago. And a lot of people, the question most people ask me is, how did you go from being a teacher to a construction professional? It's an interesting leap, but I did start out as an art teacher, and then I found myself in construction. I actually left teaching. People who teach, I was a good teacher, but it wasn't here. I wasn't passionate about it. And people who teach, they have to be passionate because it is a difficult profession and you have to want to show up every day because you believe in what you're doing. And I believed in it, but I was missing something. And I recognized that in myself. I left teaching. I just went out to wonder and discover what else could be out there, what could be challenging, what could be fulfilling. And I accidentally found myself in a construction company. And that's how it all started. I started from the very, very entry level in construction. And over the past 15, 16 years, I have just absorbed and learned and been mentored by some wonderful people and worked my way up through the industry.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And like you said, I mean, just to make that shift from being a teacher to the whole construction world. And, I did substitute teaching for a little bit. So it's like, I understand. And it made me have that, value teachers even more because you have to have a love for it. I mean, you have to be able to show up every day and be in the right frame of mind and heart because you have all these kids, whether they're elementary or high school, whatever. But, you know, they're counting on you
Yeah.
to stand in a certain standard with them. And so and then I commend you because you were bold and courageous enough to say, you know what, hey, this is not for me, let me find something else and shift it. And I think a lot of people get stuck in where they are and they get complacent. It's like, oh yeah, I'm just going to stay here, but they're not showing up as their best self. And I believe that you found the way of showing up as your best self in the construction world. And so now with you transitioning into that, how has that been for you? Like kind of go into it a little bit more, how wonderful, or the opportunities that you experienced since then.
Yeah, so I really believe in unique opportunities and finding opportunities in unexpected places, which is exactly what I did with construction. I didn't go into that first, I was a temporary receptionist, my very first placement, and I was only supposed to be there for 2 weeks. And 15 years later, I'm still in construction. That's how it all started. So I love those unique opportunities and finding opportunities in unexpected places. And what I realized is that sometimes what you're actually doing on a day-to-day basis is not as important as the people and the environment that you're doing it in and with. I fell in love with the people in construction. They were just so down to earth. They were so proud of the things that they could do because they were physically creating something. They were building buildings, fixing things. We're a government contractor, so serving the warfighter, there was this bigger picture involved, and the people are just, they're great people to work with, very welcoming. They always want to teach you something. Coming in as someone that didn't know much about construction, I found wonderful mentors that just wanted to share, and they wanted to welcome me into their world and just show me everything that they knew, and I sucked it up like a sponge, and that's how I fell in love with it. So I think construction is just a wonderful industry for everyone.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And that's something that where you're able to bring a light onto it in a different manner, because when we see construction workers, we see the hard hats, we see, the jeans, the boots, the grunginess and everything. And, you're just by you explaining your found love for that industry, it shows that there's a personality behind that. There is something more. It's grungy, but there's a glamour with it too, because of the soul and the heart of the people, and they're there to serve and to be there so we can have the structures that we have in whatever capacity that is. And so that's awesome. I just love how you're just kind of glamourifying it a little bit.
Well, that's so beautifully said. I like the way that you just explained it, from an outsider looking in, what construction brings to the world. But it's, there are some challenges. It can be grungy and dirty at times. I have my boots and I have my hard hat and I've been out on site. But there's also aspects of it that people don't see. You think automatically of you think of a man that's working out on the job site with the hard hat and all of the gear and kind of with some rough edges, but there's a whole background to it as well that's supporting that person that's out in the field getting the things done. There's a back office support, there's the leadership, there's a lot more to it. There's project management, which is where I found my love, is in project management. And there it's so multifaceted, and that's not what people think of when they think of construction. So I really like to bring that to light, like, hey, there's all these other things going on aside from just what you see when the building's being built.
Yeah, yeah, it's a true ecosystem, that just kind of it circulates everything. Like I said, we don't see the background; we only see the what's out there, this visual. And but you're right, there is a whole support system that's there. I mean, for any business or group or organization or anything, we always see what we see. But people like you coming forth and really talking about it, and I know that you, like in our audition, you had a way of shedding that light in the most unique way. And I don't want to get into what you're going to talk about. We want to keep it a secret. But and our theme is power of inclusion. So we really challenge the applicants and those who are selected as speakers to really like dive into that theme. So how important it is for you, when you think about that theme, how important is it for it to be in society, the power of inclusion?
That again is it's a big question. It's a big thing to ponder. I can only think of it in terms of my small world. There's a lot of great TED Talks. There's a lot of great research and people giving presentations and informing the general public about inclusion when it comes to demographics and race and religion and gender and all of those things, and what we see on the outside, making sure that everybody is represented. But when I think of the power of inclusion, I'm thinking a little bit broader about perspective. It's not just about making sure we all look different, but that we're bringing different perspectives to the table. And that's where I feel like there's still this big opportunity to think about, okay, if the leadership of a company is going to have a brainstorming session or has some, big decisions to make or, big ideas to discuss, why not bring the perspective of somebody that you wouldn't normally ask for their perspective? And that can come from backgrounds and race, religion, demographics, but it can also just come from a person's position. Someone can bring a different perspective because they're working in a different aspect of the company, and bringing those perspectives together, I think, can be a really powerful thing for inclusion in businesses.
Yeah, I like that you brought that up because, a lot of us, including myself and those who are watching, we've all been in the corporate world, and, we've had our positions, we've had it where, especially when there's a project coming up, or you have the higher ups making decisions, and they get it down to the everyone else is like, okay, what part of the process did you forget?
Right.
And it's like when you, like you said, when you bring the perspectives to the table, no matter what position that they're in, like I said, background or demographics or anything, it's about the thoughts, it's about the experience of that person, it is about the what I like to call intellectual property. I mean, we don't have to look at it in terms of books and copyrights and everything, but anytime you think something that is intellectual, you are, that intellectual property, and you could bring that to the table. So I really love how you broke that down and talked about perspective. And that is the thing that we wanted people to really like think outside the box with inclusion, because it is a broad word, or, a phrase or anything that how it's used. And it goes far beyond the demographics and the ethnicity or the backgrounds and stuff. And if without it, you know, how would we have what we have today? How we have the bright minds, how we have like the creative arts, the economic growth, or even the construction company that you work with, who was included in government contracting just to keep going as a company. So it's like different things like that. So I really commend you on that. In that viewpoint that you have. So I'm going to ask this. What's next for you? What's next? I know you're doing things in the construction world. You're a TEDx speaker, upcoming TEDx speaker, and so what's next?
Yeah, I mean, being on the TEDx stage is just amazing. I've always said, like, one day I want to be a TED speaker, and it's like it's something that I didn't know was even possible at the time that I was thinking about it. And for this to come to fruition, it's just like, oh my gosh, and it's right in my backyard. I was like, I have to, it's right here. I have to do it. But it's exciting. In addition to the construction company, I also have my own company where my goal is to teach small business leaders how to eliminate burden by maximizing their administrative teams. And so what's next for me is expanding that a little bit more, bringing more new ideas to the broader small business community. I found my opportunity in small business, and I just think there's so many exciting opportunities that can be found in small businesses. So I just want to continue on that path. I still love construction. That's still going to be my main focus, but I just feel like I have so much more to offer the general small business community to say, hey, there are all these unique opportunities out there, and you can find opportunities in unexpected places. And let's talk about that more.
Yeah, yeah. And for you to want to give that support and teach through the administrative support, which is so important, and that's what you're experiencing now, even with the construction world. Like you said, there's so many things on the back end of the business that's supporting the actual things that we see. And then when we think about small business, and that's one of the things that they lack in, the administrative support, or a lot of people, they want to find the VA, they want to find the business manager, they want to find just an admin or someone who's going to help them. But I believe that with your services, that you will be able to show them like how to do that, the best route to go, as well as how to even select that person, for you having that background in, admin and really business administration, and everything that you have. So that's phenomenal, Jamie. I'm sorry. I'm about to say Jamie.
That's okay.
I was about to like combine your first name and last name all together in one.
It could be a new J-Lo, it could just however you want to do it. No, I appreciate that, because it's, I talk to so many solopreneurs or new entrepreneurs that are struggling in this area. They're like, I want to do bigger things, but I can't because I'm just burdened with all these other business administration type things. And I just need someone to kind of take some of that off of my plate. And a lot of people don't know when or how to take that step. And so that's what I want to help people do, is like recognize, when are you ready to take the step, and how do you take the step so that you're setting everybody up for success? Because we see so many small businesses fail in the first few years, and it's a shame. We don't want that to happen. We want them to grow and be successful, and be able to employ more people and create more jobs and just help our overall, economics. So
yeah, and that's such a true statement, because you said, so many businesses, they do fail because, and I think the top reason is that support, like you're talking about, and not having it. to take care of this thing, especially like for I've come across a lot of creative entrepreneurs, and they talk about that same thing. And it's like, I just want to create. I want to create. I don't even want to do the actual business part, but just think about those type of unique situations or unique entrepreneur
Mhm.
journeys that really could use the services that you're providing. And, but yeah, definitely the admin support and funding are two biggest things I believe that keeps a good business down, and maybe fail, unfortunately. But they don't have to worry about it anymore because you're on the scene now. So, hey, you're doing a great thing in the community with businesses and with your company that you're working with, and you're about to just blossom even the more on the TEDx stage and everything. And any final words that you would like to give anyone that's watching, any words of wisdom before we close out?
Words of wisdom. It's not just about tackling fears. When we get up on the TEDx stage, it's like the imposter syndrome and all that stuff can kind of creep in. And it's not that you're not supposed to be afraid, but you're supposed to recognize this is something a little bit scary and I'm going to do it anyway. That's where the courage comes from. And that's what I'm trying to tap into with myself to really put myself out there. But it's, going back to inclusion, it's all about believing that your voice matters, believing that you belong, believing in your seat at the table. And that's that inner inclusion. And that, I think, is just one of those things to help people find those unexpected opportunities, is recognizing it might be scary and doing it anyway.
Yeah, definitely. Because you just have to get out there and get started. That's such, you know, phenomenal words to really go by, because it's just like, hey, just do it scared and keep moving. The scared, being scared, they'll fall off eventually.
All right. It comes with experience.
Experience. Yes, thank you so much. So, Jamie, it's been a pleasure having you with us today. Everyone, thank you again for watching. Remember, this is TEDx Mellon Street Live. The TEDx Mellon Street event is going to be at American Theater in Hampton, Virginia on November the 18th. Jamie Vanek is one of the speakers, along with some phenomenal other speakers. And go and watch the podcast on YouTube and see who else is on our platform. And once again, I want to thank Tanya Fields and Connect the Compass for being our sponsor and doing the wonderful things you're doing out there in the STEM community for minority men and women. And once again, this is Sacha Walton, your host and curator of TEDx Mellon Street Live. And I will be back again with another episode and another special guest. Thank you again, Jamie, for being here with us. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.